last week something major happened, right? On the 5th of November 2024, we had the American election. And the result is what all of us understand, right? So it was another surprising to some shocking result. Maybe not like the first time, but clearly it was a surprising result. Why? Because we had the return of Mr. Trump at the White House, going to come back in January. And that obviously provoked different reactions. Some are very happy, ecstatic, other obviously a little bit more, I would say, sad, right? So as far as I'm concerned, obviously, the arrival of Mrs. Trump, so the second term, most likely gonna lead to another big decision when it comes to the Paris Agreement. So, and obviously, in this kind of situation, and that is what I want to talk to you about because we all anticipate that he's gonna withdraw the U.S. again from the Paris Agreements, and clearly it's gonna create some sort of chaos. But guess what? I think that may actually be a blessing, and that's what I want to do this video just to explain to you what is my thinking. Yeah, so just stay tuned. Hello, how are you doing? I think it's Tony again, so I'm delighted to have you here. So very happy to talk to you. And what is that we do? So we are a clean energy company. So we actually raise awareness about renewables energy in Africa and across the globe. First time you see me, that's what you want to know. If you're a project developer, you're an EPC company, you are an investor, you're a supplier, you want to tap into Africa, I want to talk to you because there are two key questions I know to ask yourself. Number one, how can I reduce my business development costs? And number two, how can I fast track access to customers? I can help you with both. We've built awareness package that responds just to that. It's going to help you to fast track the path, right? So what we're going to do is three things. Number one is visibility, but to who? Your target audience, the people that buy your product, your services, the people that will obviously follow your program. And number two, give you qualified lead from leads, you get the sales, right? And that's what we do. So definitely book a meeting with me. I want to talk to you. I want to show you what we've done for other people, how we can get it for you so that you get the confidence that yes, it would work for you. Okay. So back into the topic today. So I'm going to be straightforward. So regarding the election of Trump, President Trump. So once you say, I must admit, I was surprised. Probably not the person I was actually looking for. I would have voted for if I was an American. But hey, this is not my choice. So obviously, there's a lot of people happy because they say he's gonna stop the woke culture. So he's gonna also against the new world order, whatever you want to call it. So the globalization, all that. So listen, I don't want to lead the discussion to those topics because, frankly speaking, I don't know. I don't think I have enough qualification, to sort of weigh on it. Although I do have an opinion like any other citizen, but let me not just wait to that. So one of the main things that animates me today is what is it going to mean for our sector? And if you're part of our sector, obviously it's something uh, at first it's difficult to support it. So because if you drew from Paris Agreement first time, created a number of chaos. I anticipate that if it goes again and do that just like has been announced, it's gonna provoke the same thing. And based on that, it's difficult for me to be happy about our account, right? Because as I say, so when you very involved into the sector and you passionate about it, you travel around the place and you see the disaster that's happening because we don't take this question seriously. Clearly, you are concerned about that. So it took me some time to digest it, like I said, purely because I must admit I was a little bit selfish. This is what I was looking at my sector. I was looking at what are the goals, I defend, I work for. Yeah. And based on that, I would have made the decision, I would have made a different decision. Like I said, this is not it was not my choice to make. It was the American, and we have to respect it whether we like it or not. At the end of the day, that's how it's all about. So, but on reflection, it took me a few days to process it, to digest it. I must admit, yeah, because that's a turn, that's a change in the industry. It took me some time to digest it. So But on reflection, I thought, actually, this can actually be a blessing in disguise because I've always think, okay, I'm an optimistic. I know that, you know that, right? So anything that happened, I'm always looking at, okay, that's the negative side, or that's the perceived negative side. On the flip coin, what could be the benefit? What could be the blessing hiding behind it? So that's what I have been asking myself, right? So, and I think there is an explanation, there is a blessing. So let me just explain to you what it is. So I just want to give you 5 reasons what I believe that it can actually be a great thing, especially today. We start COP29. You know that COP29 is starting today, right? And that could have been, it could not have been, like I said, a better or worse timing. It depends which side of the argument you're actually siding with. Yeah. So COP21, COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan is starting today. So what's going to be the impact of the Trump election there? But as I say, for me, I think it's actually blessing this guy. I'm going to give you 5 reasons. So the first reason I want to start with, I think that can actually generate a sense of renewed focus on energy innovation because we know that Mr. Trump has a pro-business stance, yeah, and difficult not to like it. We all want to make business see business moving forward. We have a pro-business stance, especially towards fossil fuel, industries. So if we know that's going to happen at least for the next 4 years, so as a sector, on the sector, at the end of it, we still have the responsibility to see how we can drastically reduce emission. This could potentially push for advancement in energy technologies like carbon removal, carbon capture, storage, clean coal. Some will say that because if we know that it's going to happen, how could we mitigate that? So that could boost innovation on this sense, yeah. And why this is not a long-term solution, we all agree. They could still stimulate technological innovation that could be incorporated in a broader climate conversation at COP29. Because like I say, so I have obviously vision, dream, but I'm also a pragmatic guy. Yeah, and I know some people in the sector may not like me to say that. So we know fossil fuel is gonna stay for the foreseeable future. We're not going to get rid of them altogether overnight. It's not just going to happen. I wish and I would love it, but it's not going to happen. Based on that, what kind of solution can we put in place so that we can still take care of the business? And I personally think that we need to be potentially seriously looking at carbon removal, right? So because depending on where we live in, we have people that are pro against. I absolutely do not understand how people will be against climate change, but I need to work with that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's my point. So I believe the first thing, it could be a renewed focus on energy innovation. So that's what I do. I'm purely, clearly, simply to put together some argument here, remove emotion out of it. Look at how can we work and still make progress in spite of what is happening. That's the way I've always looked at things in my life. No matter how the challenges are coming, I always want to say, how can I make progress in spite? I'm the kind of guy, even if I have one leg, I would say, hey, how can I run with that one leg? That's the way my mind is working. You may agree or may not disagree. I just wanted to share that. The second thing, I believe actually this election can actually put a lot more pressure for stronger private sector actions. Because guess what? You need to understand that's what's happening, right? So, okay, we need to look at the headlines, and what people are saying, look at all the noise, but also then reflect back and look at what is actually happening. Strong skepticism, it's towards large-scale government-led environmental regulation, you know, which might encourage for me a greater reliance on private sector to lead climate solutions. Because we know from that government perspective, I don't think there won't be as much action as we would have had if we had obviously a different result. We know that already, right? Because it's going to be difficult to have global big consensus. So private sector need to now take charge, and step in just to move forward. And guess what? This is actually a great thing because if you've been following me, I've always said that I personally believe that we need a lot more private sector engagement. Because if you look at the money that we need to be bringing to clean up the planet, we're talking about $100 trillion, yeah, that we talked about here. No government gonna be putting that money forward. No government. That I know, right? I know they won't be doing that. So that means if we need to find that money, so most likely than not, the larger chunk should come from private sector. So why not private sector now? Because we have no choice. Get to move into that. Step in the void that is left by government here. So this can foster innovation, investment in renewable energy, and private and public partnership. And that may present new opportunity for climate action and investment discussed at COP29. So clearly, stronger pressure on private sector. That's what I think it could lead. The third thing for me. So making forward, because it could actually lead to a global shift towards regional cooperation. Because under Trump, the US will refuse most likely to engage in multilateral agreements like the Paris Accord. So that for me would encourage other nations to strengthen their regional collaboration and pursue localized climate goals. Even in the US, by the way, is the federal government that obviously will withdraw from the Paris Accord. But the great thing in the US, for example, is that this is a federal country. Yeah, so that means you have a lot of states which are pretty much like independent nations. Yeah, so they still have a level of autonomy that they could do. So we could still pursue some of these goals. So there's no reason for us to stop it. That's what I say. It will go behind the noise. Yes, US withdrawing, it's a drawback, it's a setback, without a shadow of a doubt. But as I say, we need to put ourselves in mind, how can we make progress in spite of this? Yeah, that's the way we should be thinking. Because guess what? We're going to have challenges like that all the way through. So this could lead for me greater regional commitment at COP29, focusing on what nation can accomplish individually. That's what people also say. Okay, if I think already it will be difficult to have a broader consensus, just because the US is just too much of a big player, you know. Because without them at the table, any agreement that will be taken will be kind of weak. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. So, but regional commitment could be made, focusing on what the nation can do individually, small group bypassing global structure. Why not look at that? It is possible. It is doable. Obviously, we want to have those big organizations, but if we can't, what can we do and still make progress? Because if we all shifting our mindset and look at that this way, I think it's still possible. So we can also, for me, I think as well, the fourth thing that it would do, it's reinforce national sovereignty and responsibility, because we all know about the Trump America First approach, which for me would push other countries to take also greater responsibility for their own climate action, rather than just relying on international agreements. And guess what? Everybody have this mindset. What we can see collectively, we may end up doing a lot of progress as well, because everybody say, "Hey, I can't count on other people. Let me do as much as I can to make sure that I can make progress." This might inspire stronger national commitment and more self-reliance on sustainable practices, and a shift that could lead to innovative local solutions presented at COP29. So yeah, so that's what it can do. I strongly believe that. The fifth point for me, and that's one of the most important, it's for me, it would probably put some pressure for concrete but also actionable solutions. How many times have you heard of, because the thing is, sometimes we go to COP, we discuss about, I personally sometimes think that those are details. I know language is important, but at the end of the day, if it's not backed by action, it goes nowhere. Sometimes we get disappointed based on because we say phase down as opposed to phase out, or yeah, basically things like that. But guess what? If we say phase down and we end up achieving a lot more that we would have done if we say phase out, I still take it. At the end of the day, what is the action that is being taken? Yeah, and how concretely is it making a difference on the ground? Yeah. So the potential for less lofty international climate agreement on the Trump could focus COP29 on practical, concrete solutions that achieve measurable progress, even just to demonstrate that, hey, in spite of this, we're still making progress, that's fine. So rather than rely on broad, ambitious pledges, we should focus on real-world, actionable policy and outcome, emphasize the pragmatic, result-driven initiative that move the needle of climate change. Like I say, so for me, all the countries are needed. But we shouldn't just rely on one country, all of us, on any issue. There are countries that we definitely need them around the table. We want them around the table. But guess what? If they're not around the table, we gotta find a way to move forward. Yeah. Why waiting for them to join back? I know at some point in time they will join back. I know. It's too much of a big issue for us to ignore. Even if they ignore it, reality is gonna bite back. I know. I'm convinced. I can already see that happening. You can see what happened, for example, recently in Florida. People can choose to ignore it. That's fine. That's a choice. But they come back to reality at some point in time, and they will join back. And when they join back, I'm hoping, like like me, many other people will be happy to welcome back. That's the way we need to do that. But how can we move forward in spite of what is happening? That is the mindset that we need to be having. So it could be this in disguise. Those 5 actions. So renew, focus on energy innovation, a pressure for stronger private sector action. That's what I believe. 3, a global shift towards regional cooperation. So 4, it's reinforce national sovereignty and responsibility. And 5, increase pressure to concrete an actionable solution. These are steps that could be taken that will lead us ultimately to, as I say, achieving as much more progress than what we could have potentially done, even if the US was still part of the game. By the way, they're still part of it. I'm just anticipating in case it happened. So that's the mindset I had. I just wanted to leave you that. These are my reflections. Let me know what you're thinking. You may share that, not share that, agree, disagree, but this is what I'm saying. And guess what? It took me some time to record this video. Right? It's always something you want me to record, but I wanted to record that, yeah. So that's I had to I wanted to record that since yesterday. Technical issue after technical issue, but I wanted to share. That's my reflection. What are you thinking? Blessing or curse? And why? That's the question I leave to you. Take care, guys. And as usual, great talking to you. Bye bye.